let's move on to importing an image and creating it into a vector, which is what we were talking about the other day with the
Yeah.
Ocean's Edge marketing logo. All right, so I created a folder. So we're going to bring in the logo. Ocean's Edge marketing image. Okay, here it is. Okay. I'm going to bring it into, okay, I just brought it into our 10 by 10. Okay. So now I want to make it small to fit on my artboard. If you can see, here's my artboard. Here's the image that I just brought in. And I don't want to just take a corner and squish it because it's going to get all squishy. So I have to press shift like we talked about. The proportions. That's the word I was looking for before. Proportions. Okay. So
Understood the squishy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So here it is. This is just scanned. You see, it's literally off of my phone, right? I took a screenshot from my phone. Now, how in the world will we create this and to make it into a vector, right? There's this amazing tool, geniuses that Adobe made. So you just click on it, okay? And remember, anytime you click on something in Illustrator, on your menu board gives you options what you can do with that object. We're going to do something called image trace, okay? So this drop down here, let's drop down. This is new for 2023. I've never seen it like this. These are different options of what it can look like when you image trace it, okay? So let's just try sketch.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's working. And wow, look at that. It created it into a vector image. Okay, now not all of them are this super simple and super clean, but because Marketing Edge logo, original logo, is so black and white and is such a contrast, when you create it into a vector, it makes it nice and clean. Okay. So, but what about all this other stuff? Okay, so I just want to change the D. Okay, I can't just click on the D. Okay, well, there's one more step that you have to do. Once you do image trace, you have to make sure it's highlighted and click expand. Now it gives me all of these points, which now has made this into a true vector image. Okay, so now you see how I'm moving this. Okay, let me go back. If I click on the selection tool, it moves it all as a whole piece, right? But I don't want all of this extra stuff. I don't need my icons that were on my phone. I don't need the percentage on my phone. I want to delete all of that. So I can't click on it with the selection tool alone. I have to go to the direct selection tool. This lets me delete points and different things. So I'm just going to highlight, I'll make sure I won't touch the logo, but I'm just going to highlight above the logo and it deletes all that, all those points at the top. And it ends up deleting it all. Yeah.
Amazing.
Isn't it cool? It's just amazing. So
Which I
now,
guess it's like you said, it's more simple because it's black and white. Like I'm
right.
sure it's more complicated with like different photos or
Yes.
images, but anyway.
And I'm going to show you some examples of those. I have some ready because you're right. It's not always as easy, and I'm going to show you. So now you have the Marketing Edge logo as a vector. You can change the color.
Whoa.
You can make it a gradient. Hold on a second. You can make it a gradient if you like. You can do a lot of things because as a vector, you can do whatever you want, right? But it's
That's really cool, yeah.
Isn't it cool? It's an amazing tool. It is amazing. All right. All right, let's give you another example of that. I use this a lot because sometimes I have a logo that I drew out. Okay. And I don't, it's for me, I have found it's easier for me to draw a logo and bring it in Illustrator versus trying to create it in Illustrator. Because when you bring it in, then you're able to have the lines like you want and everything. So let's try another one. So let's say file, or I'm just going to go to my file. Go to Costa Rica, Ocean's Edge, training. All right. Say I want to, I'm going to bring in him. This was an actual scan of this little man, right? That I just
Mhm.
drew really quickly. So let's click on it. I want to move this at the top. It's like in my way. Okay. And then we click on it, image trace it. Let's try image trace sketch. Let's just see what happens because sometimes the results aren't what you want. Like, huh, that looks pretty good, right? He's
Mhm.
he's pretty good. All right, let's revert to original. So if you go back up here, you can revert to original and it brings back your actual scan. Okay. And this is not
Mhm.
even a scan. This is a picture I took on my phone. This is how intuitive this tool is. Like this is like literally I took
Yeah.
a picture just like that.
Yeah.
So let's try. I want to do 16 colors. I want to get the color of the everything around it. So let's see what 16 colors does. This gives you a little bit more of a detailed image, but it still made it like shapes, okay?
Hmm.
And if you expand
Interesting.
it, it made all these different little, I press expand and now these are all my points, but that's way too many. I don't need all of that. You know what I mean? I don't need like every single shadow that my phone made. I don't need all of that,
Yeah.
right? So that's just too much. So let's go
Uh-huh.
back. All right. See if I can revert to original. I was doing funky stuff. It's doing weird stuff. It's like in like a little. Sometimes it gets frozen or something. Okay, let's just start from the beginning. But anyway, you got the point, right? So you have to choose which image trace is the best. What I did was go ahead and crop it. So I took it and I took a screenshot of it and I cropped it, or I might have brought it in Photoshop because I just wanted to crop the little man. So I took the picture on my phone, but I just want to crop the little man. So again, we just click on it. We do image trace. I'm going to make it like a sketch and let's see what happens. That looks good to me. So then we expand it. Now the little man is a vector shape. Okay. And I can turn the little man to green, yellow. All right. Which is really cool because you can do a sketchy looking logo, but then you can make him a vector and you can put,
Mhm.
whatever you need to do. And say, I'm like, oh
Uh-huh.
man, I didn't mean to pick up this little line right here, right? So you take your direct selection tool and under your pen tool over here, if you hold on it, there's a delete anchor point tool. You click on that and deletes, hold on, let me get it close. It deletes these little anchor points. Boop, boop, boop.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a
That's kind
great,
of what I was asking, or like that kind of answers a question from earlier of like, can you just correct
oh,
those little points?
mm-hmm.
But I think that what the answer is that there's multiple ways
Yeah,
to correct, and like that's really cool.
it's honestly, it's like I said, really, if your brain can think it and it can happen. And if you don't know, and if there's something that I'm not like answering properly, you can always Google it as well. Like how do you do this? Because that's how you learn too when you're in here
Yeah.
playing around. You always have me as a resource. I want to make sure that's clear. But I'm just saying, if I'm not around and you're like, well, can you do this? You probably can. That's the beauty of these
Mhm.
programs. If you can think it, it can probably be done. All right. So that's an
Mhm.
example of the little man, which is great. I don't know why this did this for some reason. I don't know what's happening here. I'm just gonna open up a new one. Oh, it's like frozen. Don't be funny. Hold on a second. I'm just gonna close this real quick. All right, so I'm gonna show you another scan, and then we're gonna move on to a t-shirt design, what it would look like. Okay, we have about 20 more minutes. All right, so new file. we're just going to create, you can go over to print. So again, when you open up create file, they'll have your recent files, they'll have saved, they'll have different, templates already set up. I like to go to print. It just gives me an artboard. I just want a 10 by 10 inches artboard again. And again, once we get off, I'll make sure I send you everything so you can play around for yourself. Create. Okay, so now let's say we have a different scanned image, and I had this journal and I thought it was really pretty. Let me see. You can sort of see. And it had these pretty flowers on it. So I literally
Uh-huh.
took a picture of this, and I'll show you. And I cropped it. You can drag and drop, obviously. You saw what I did. If you have images in a folder, you can drag and drop right into Illustrator. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So I want to make this into a vector because I really like this pretty leaf here. So I want to make
Mm-hmm.
that into something. So let's see how great this image trace is. So we go to image trace. I don't know which one to choose. Let me try sketch. Oh, that didn't work because it didn't give me anything. It wasn't enough contrast. So I'm going to revert to original. Now let me try 16 colors. This will take a little second. All right, that might be good. Let's see, expand. Take a second. All right. Oh, okay. Listen, I don't know if I want all that because then I have to delete this and then delete this and delete that. So I don't want all that, right? That's too much. So let's go back to the
Mm-hmm.
folder. Let's bring it back over. And there's something here. So you play around with it. You get that point, right? Let's do it
Mm-hmm.
very simple. Let's do 3 colors. Okay. Let's see if it'll create in 3 colors. It should go much faster, or at least a little bit faster. All right. And
Could you
let's,
also like play with the contrast of the photo before
yes,
putting it in?
yes, but you have to do that in something like Photoshop. Because unless there's a
Mm-hmm.
way, I don't know. I'll look it up. That's a great question. I don't know if there is an Illustrator. I did before I got on the call. Like I went into Photoshop and tried to do some different contrasts and make it easier. So you can do that. We can go over that when we go to do our Photoshop tomorrow. But
Mm-hmm.
um, that does help. But when you do 3 colors, it helps too because it really forces it to not do so much, do so like pick up every little tone. But yes, we'll
Yeah.
work on it too. So we'll expand
Mm-hmm.
it because after you image trace, you have to expand it so it makes actual points for all the objects. All right, that's great. I'm going to show you something else too that I wanted to show you. So now you have like, oh, this is interesting. So if I click on this, it still has a lot of pieces, but let me show you this really cool tool. If you click on this and I want to delete all of the tones that look like that, you do select. Wait, hold on. Object. Sometimes I know it, but I don't. Hold on. Select. Okay, this is it. Select same fill color. So everywhere that color is on this object is, I'll take it, I want to delete it. Same with this. Select same fill, F-I-L-L color, deletes it. And now I'm left with this pretty thing, right? So I don't want all this extra. So I take that tool, I delete it, delete it, delete it, delete it. So this leaf did something funky. So I'll zoom into it. It didn't pick something up. Gosh, Control Z, 0. Anytime you get lost, because sometimes you're too zoomed in, just put Control Z, 0. And I am going to draw this to fill in the space. Okay, so I have the color selected.
Oh.
Over here, it was the correct color. Now, though, when I move it, that piece is still there. So I want to make sure it's both pieces are selected with my selection tool, because if I don't do my selection tool, it'll only do whatever these dark little points are on my direct selection tool, but I don't want that. I want the whole thing. So I take both pieces, I go to view, excuse me, window, pathfinder, which is it's already open, but if you need to find it, window pathfinder, and I'm going to unite. So now I united it and it's just one piece. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have this beautiful piece, and that is from something I took a picture of on my phone, and it was something I thought was really pretty. Now I can change it. I
Wow.
can duplicate it, Control C, Control V. I can make it big. I can show you something when you do the window. Oh, effect. Okay, this is another thing that I feel like we need more than this today, but we can go further into it, you and I too, as well. And I'll do more of trainings on it. But there's also something I love called blur, which is really nice. Like if you want to look into some more extensive effects, there's your
Mm-hmm.
effect panel here. So the
Okay.
3D and materials, I think we talked about that. We showed what that could do. But there's also rasterize, there's stylize. You can drop a shadow, you can feather, inner glow, outer glow, round corner, scribble. You can warp something. Um, let's try a blur, for example. So Gaussian blur, let's just try a blur. And you can see your preview, you can blur a lot and a little. So let's blur it about this much, say okay. Let's turn it to brown. And then let's, um, let me see, right click. Okay. If you right click on an object, you have a menu that pops up, transform, and you can say shear. Say 250. All right. So again, a lot of stuff is playing around stuff, Elise, but it can look
Mm-hmm.
like it's dropping a little shadow, you know? There's so many things you can
Oh,
do, you know? It's on, it's, I mean, I guess I could say it's infinite things you can do, you know? But it's just
truly.
great that you can
Mm-hmm.
take something and scan it and you can really have options, and it really is helpful when you're creating something fresh. All right, you have any questions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, this is going way back. But so how did you just dropped the photo in there,
Yes,
like
yes.
drag and drop, and then you selected the photo. I'm just trying to remember the process to make it into a, let me, and then you clicked image trace,
Mhm.
right?
Now
Okay,
you
that's
do
easy.
your drop down first. Make sure you do your drop down, because whatever, if you just click on image trace, it'll do the last settings I think that you did. So you want to do your
Gotcha.
drop down. Do you remember which one I
Okay, yeah.
chose?
Was it the three colors?
Yep, got it. And after this, do you know what I had to do?
Um,
Because I can't, it's not split up in little points yet. So do you remember what I had to click?
expand.
Yeah, that's it. Excellent.
Nice.
Excellent,
Okay.
Elise. Got it. Bravo. All right. And what do I do to get rid of these colors that I don't want? What about, how do I get rid of this color? I mean, I can go here and delete, and then go here and delete, but what's another way that's a little bit faster?
Um, oh gosh, I don't remember.
That's okay.
Was it
The-
was it the color,
yeah.
like you like selected the color itself,
Yep.
right?
Yep. You
But I
got
don't know
it.
how.
Okay. That's okay. So you click on it and you
Oh, there we go.
select same. So you think select,
Uh,
and then you go select
uh,
and then same appearance, blending, yada yada. But do you do fill color, FILL? And everywhere that
oh,
color
yes.
is, and then you press delete.
Hmm.
Same thing here.
Okay, because there's only 3 colors.
Right.
So once you did the image trace
Yeah.
of like the option of 3 colors, then you're only gonna have 3 colors appear here and like got it. Yeah.
It
So
simplifies
you
it
need to
for you
delete the
versus
other 2 colors. Mm-hmm.
mhm. Versus if you do
Okay.
that 16 colors, you'll be selecting same, selecting same, selecting same, delete, select same, delete, select, the whole, and you'll have until you get just to the one color that you want, or they may have broken up into multiple colors. But if you just want a simple vector, I say 3 colors is good, but play around with all of those options if you use this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
And
so sorry, that was object
yeah,
same.
oh,
No.
it was you click on it and do select,
Uh
same, fill color.
select same fill color.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then here, if you just like, if I use my selection tool, I'm selecting all of it, but I don't want to do that. I just want to do direct selection. And that way I can just literally draw a box around something I don't want there and delete it
Mm-hmm.
until you get down to what you want. Okay.
That is so cool that you don't even have to scan it. Like it can just be a photo of like I'm sure it would be more complicated, but you could take a picture of like a landscape, and if you want your logo to have like the same form as like a volcano in Costa Rica or something, you could literally take a picture of the volcano and like convert that into somehow a vector.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty amazing. It is. I agree. It's pretty amazing. Okay. So we worked on, so we have about 9 minutes. So I just want to show you, I want to go back to Ocean's Edge logo,
Mm-hmm.
and let me bring that in. So I just had my folder there. I literally drag and dropped it. Okay. And we image trace it, but we want to make sure
Mm-hmm.
we do sketch on this one because it's a very clear black and white. And then what do we do to give me a little points?
Expand.
There you go. Excellent. And then which arrow do I choose? This one or this one? The 1 or 2? Because I want to delete some of this extra stuff. So do I
2,
do,
right?
yep, got it. So I highlight things that I just don't want. I delete, delete,
Mm-hmm.
delete. Excellent. So here's my logo. And I want to keep the proportions. So what do I press?
Shift.
Yep. Make it smaller. All right. So here's the logo. I want to make this logo the color, the Ocean's Edge color. So I'll go here. I'm going to pull in that capture, right? Pull it over. I want this color. So what do I do to get this color in my swatches?
The dropper
There you
tool.
go. Excellent. Pull a dropper. Now, how do I get this square over to all of my swatches?
Um, okay. Don't you just drag it, right?
Yep.
No.
Yeah. No, that's it. Simple. Trick question. It
Like,
was
is this a
simple.
trick question?
No, it's not. It's easy. All right. And then now I can delete this because I have my swatch. Thank you very much. Now, what do I do? How do I change this? How do I change this to that Ocean's Edge color?
Well, you select it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you just click the color
Yep.
now. No?
Yep. Easy smeezy. So pretty, right? All right.
So
So now
pretty.
I know it's very pretty. All right. So now I want to say the client wants a t-shirt. This is the last little thing I think is on the list. They want a layout on a t-shirt. So we created an Ocean's Edge t-shirt. We're about to create the t-shirt design, but we created a vector logo from a low res JPEG because that's what the Ocean's Edge logo, marketing logo was. So now we're going to create a t-shirt. So let's go to the Windows, clients, and you probably, I know you already know this, but I feel like folders are like so important because it keeps all your stuff nice,
Yeah.
clean. So I have a t-shirt design. Oh, I already had those things in there. So I'm going to pull this. I found this background again from one of those free sites that I'm going to share with you. It's just a little mock-up, right? So I'll shift it. All right. Now, clearly I want the logo that's behind here, right? So if you want to put things on layers, you can open up your layer tab, or you can click on this, object, arrange, send to back. Okay. So all I did was take whatever object I had highlighted and I
Mm.
put it in the back so I can see my logo. Okay. Because again, if
Right.
you think in your brain, everything's layers. So it's just like it's literally behind it. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
now I don't want to, every time I try to click on the logo, I don't want to click on this background thing. So we have to lock it. Do you remember how
Mm-hmm.
we did it?
Oh, wait, I wrote it down. Control 2.
There you go.
Or you can go to the layers thing.
Yeah. Excellent. Control 2. It's good to learn your shortcuts when you're moving around here because you're trying to move fast.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now I'm just going to shift this and just make it look like, huh, that's how it would look on a shirt. And then when you're presenting to somebody, and then say you can control CV, just like you would do copy and paste in anything. And then maybe on the back, you would have it in the corner. I don't know. But then you can say, client, here's what your end result t-shirt would look like. And you can send them this file.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, we have a few more minutes. Does that make sense? I know it's really simple, but you get the idea. You can put anything as, and if you want to show something that looks professional, you can do it, you know. But
Yeah.
you see how there's all this extra whiteboard space? You can say, and I just want it around here. Okay. So I had a 10 by 10, 10 by 10 artboard, but I don't want that. So you can say file, document setup, edit artboard. Okay. Now
Mm-hmm.
go again. File, document setup, edit artboard. And look what happens. I have these little points here. So the little points I can move. Let me see. And they'll
Oh, I
conform
get it.
to my
Mm-hmm.
artboard. I've created another artboard by accident out here, but oh goodness. All right, well, you get the point. But I was able to do that. And then the last thing I want to show you is how to save something out. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
if you save it as an Illustrator file, obviously that can only be opened in Illustrator. Okay. So that's good for
Yeah.
designer to designer. If you save it in an EPS file, encapsulated postscript, that is good for anybody. And I'll send you a list of this. This is good for anybody who would want to like have your logo and print it on, goodness, you can print it on this, you can highlight, you can make it big and put it on the side of the building and you can make a mural out of it. You can put it on a sign, you can put it on a billboard, because what the vector image is like you can make it as big as you want, right? So that's an encapsulated postscript. The PDF is good for viewing. So you don't have to have Illustrator, but you have to have Illustrator for an AI file or EPS file. You don't
Mm-hmm.
need Illustrator for a PDF file, a JPEG file, or a PNG file. PNG is all it is a transparent background. So I'll show you file, save as. Here are my options for save as. You have Adobe Illustrator, PDF, or an EPS. I don't ever use these down here, but SVG, I think that's something to do. You can bring it into video. I'm not sure, but these are the ones that most everybody would ever use, or the top three. But you see, they don't give me an option for a JPEG. For a JPEG and PNG, you have to say File, Export, Export as. And then it gives you File, JPEG, PNG, Photoshop. They give you much more options, okay?
Oh, okay.
So that's how you save as a Photoshop. I mean, excuse me, as a JPEG or PNG. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the end of the training.
Or Photoshop, actually.
Yeah, or Photoshop if you want. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Great.
I know it's a lot.
No, thank you so much for. I feel like you did a good job of walking through one step at a time and starting with the basics, so that I totally was tracking with you. So.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I figured you would though, because I really had no doubt, because you're already a designer. You just needed a different tool, you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
So I had no
Yeah.
doubt. Let me open this.
So wait, I'm sorry. This is kind of just me reviewing, but I'm also trying to like write notes. And since I was paying attention, I wasn't like
Of
I
course.
couldn't keep up with writing everything. But
Mhm.
okay, when we were creating the vector from the photo,
Yeah,
I after expanding the points,
yeah.
then I'm sorry, it was select and then what? What
Okay,
was like
let's
the
see.
option under select? I just needed to
Um,
see like
oh,
drop
oh, to get rid of those colors that you don't need.
down. Yeah, can you just open like the drop down of select?
Sure, it's
Because then I have
select, same.
same
Mhm.
and then fill color. Got it. Okay.
And everything's going to be different. They're not always going to be that way where it's straightforward. Oh, that's what I wanted to show
Yeah,
you. You know,
like it's an option
it's an
if
option.
yeah.
Um, this is also really good. I want to show you this really quickly. I know our time is up, but say I wanted to show you how to do a signature. Say you wanted your signature digitally, right?
Uh-huh.
And you want to bring it in and make it a digital file. So you can do the same thing. You click on it, you image trace it. I'm going to do a sketch. If you do this on a really clean black and white, it can be really clean. But you see how we have all this extra stuff? Let's expand it
Mhm.
and delete this. And eventually you can delete everything that you don't want, and you'll have a digital signature, which is great. So say if there's a document, I've done this before, where if there was a document that needed my actual signature and I did everything digitally, I was able to bring it into Illustrator, pop my signature on there because I have a digital signature saved, pop it on there, and then send it off. And a lot of times
Mhm.
they have different ways to go around that now because everything's so digital, but it helps. And this also can turn into a logo or whatever. So there's just options, but that's a really
Totally.
cool.